5-year-old Harmony Montgomery is officially declared dead at the hands of her father.
Okay, I want you to walk the jurors through in as much detail as you can what happened on your route from Habitopco to that Burger King.
Adam was getting really angry from Harmony peeing in the car, and he repetitively kept punching her on the way to Burger King, and there were a couple red lights, and when we were at red lights he would go over the driver's seat, like in between the passenger seat, and he was just punching her repetitively in the head.
And you've said there were several times where he punched her repetitively in the head.
Yes.
How many times did he hit her?
I can't count. I don't know.
Were you counting?
No, I wasn't.
How many lights did that car come to where he repetitively struck her?
At least 2 or 3.
Between Habitopco and the Burger King, did the defendant say anything to Harmony?
I told her to shut the fuck up. Stop crying.
And welcome back to Law and Crime. I'm Michael Bryant. A New Hampshire judge has ruled in favor of Harmony's biological mother in her quest to hold more people accountable for her daughter's death. This comes just weeks after Harmony's father, Adam Montgomery, was convicted of her murder in a case that really played out over several years. Harmony vanished back in 2019 while in the custody of her father and stepmother, Kayla Montgomery, but she wasn't reported missing until 2021, and it wasn't until the summer of 2022 that the case became a homicide investigation. During this span of time, Adam Montgomery hid Harmony's lifeless body and was planning to get rid of it for good.
So the defendant put Harmony into garbage bags, and he squished her into a bag like this one?
Yes.
And this again was at the Families in Transition shelter?
Yes.
Where did he do that to her?
In the bathroom of the room that we stayed in.
Were you in the bathroom with him when he did that?
No.
Did you hear anything when he was doing that to her in the bathroom?
I heard a loud bang.
Could you see what was going on in there?
No.
You mentioned the defendant stuffing Harmony into the duffel bag.
Yes.
At that intersection in the car dive.
Yes.
And then you mentioned him squishing her into this bag.
Yes.
Did she fill that bag, that CMC bag that you just saw?
Yes.
Her body filled that bag?
Yes.
And what did he do with the bag after he put her in there?
He put her back in the ceiling.
You mentioned being at the Families in Transition shelter for a month and a half.
Yes.
During that time, did the defendant begin discussing disposing of Harmony, getting rid of her body?
No.
At some point, did he begin discussing disposing of Harmony, getting rid of her body?
Yes.
And what was his plan? What was his idea for getting rid of her?
To use lime. And dismember her.
Now, a New Hampshire probate judge has ruled that Harmony's biological mother, not the woman we just saw testify, the stepmother, that the biological mother had, quote, carried her burden to demonstrate, end quote, that Harmony was killed, and, quote, as a result of some catastrophic events, end quote, and that her body has not been found. Crystal Sorey, who struggled with substance abuse, lost custody of Harmony back in 2018. The last time she saw her daughter was on a FaceTime call around Easter of 2019, 8 months before Harmony died. The judge's ruling makes Sori the sole administrator of Harmony's estate, and now she plans to go after parties beyond Adam and Kayla Montgomery that failed her daughter. To be exact, she's pursuing wrongful death lawsuits against the child welfare systems of Massachusetts and New Hampshire. During Adam Montgomery's trial, one of those CPS workers actually testified about getting an anonymous report surrounding Harmony having a black eye. This was in July of 2019, 5 months before she died. Here's what he told the court earlier this year.
So you got a report. What did you do after you received that report?
When I received the report, I initiated trying to make contact with the family in order to see them. So I drove to the location, and as I pulled up the location, I noticed a person who I recognized as Adam Montgomery getting into a car.
Was anyone else present with him as he was getting into that vehicle?
There was a young girl, a small girl.
That interaction, your observation of the defendant, Adam Montgomery, and the small girl who was with him, how long was that?
Not very long. Basically, as I was pulling up and getting ready to park, they were getting into the vehicle, and I can't remember exactly how far away I was, 30, 40 feet or so.
Now, keep in mind, the CPS worker actually didn't see Harmony in person until more than a week later because Adam Montgomery kept delaying their visit. Here's how their August 2019 meeting went.
Did you notice any markings or injury to her face?
I did notice a small red mark under one of her eyes and some redness with discoloration in the eye that was closest to that.
Did the defendant tell you anything regarding how that injury occurred?
He did. He said that he had bought the kids, he had 2 younger children, he bought the kids like foam swords or lightsabers, and that they were playing with them, and that Harmony was struck in the face, in the eye, and that's how she got that mark.
And it sounds like you spoke with Adam, but you also spoke with Harmony.
I did.
Your general or preferred practice is to try and meet with the kid alone, correct?
Correct.
But that doesn't always happen.
Correct.
Sometimes there is a parent there.
Sometimes there's a parent there.
Or in the next room.
Or in the next room.
And you don't have any specific recollection regarding whether anybody was present when you spoke with Harmony.
I don't recall that.
But you were able to visually see Harmony, right?
Yes.
And you noticed a little bit of red in her right eye?
I can't remember if it was a right or left eye, but it was one of the eyes.
In one eye. There was some redness?
Yes.
Faded bruising as well?
Yeah, I'd refer to it as like a faint red mark and then some redness in the eye.
Harmony had her glasses, right?
She did.
She agreed to remove them, right?
Yes.
So that you could look at her.
Yes.
And there's a standard set of questions you ask under these circumstances, right?
I do. I did.
So again, without indicating what the answer was, you would obviously ask her what had happened.
Yes.
And other questions regarding her general safety.
Yes.
Aside from the redness in her eye and the faded bruising, you did not observe anything else concerning regarding Harmony's person or well-being.
I did not.
So, if I understand correctly, you're not sure whether when you spoke with Harmony, if her father was in the room, in another room, or somewhere else.
Correct. I don't recall that.
Thank you.
Boy, the details of this case, it's a gut punch. It's a heartbreaking story. Joining me to talk about this latest development in the law and crime world here is analyst Bryant Buckmire. Bryant, I think about this case, we're always looking to blame as many people as we can because you hear a little child dies, disappears, now presumed dead. And you've got government agencies involved. So now we have the biological mom picking up that mantle, now presumed dead Harmony Montgomery, and she's going to get justice against these government agencies, the Child Protective Services from 2 different states. Give me your take on those kinds of actions, and especially in this scenario.
They're difficult from a legal standpoint, from an emotional standpoint. We followed a lot of cases like this where parents are looking to get some form of justice in wrongful death suits. I think this one is especially important, not just because of who Harmony Montgomery was, but because of the organizations and agencies that seem to not catch the red flags. And so this might not just be justice for Harmony, it might be justice for other children down the line, where we might not just be talking about a dollar amount, but the change of procedures to make sure that this is the last child that we're talking about in this state or any other state that had to go through such a tragic end.
Yeah, it reminds me a little bit of the Maya Kowalski case where, she lived through the trauma, but there was a lot done, changed the system, hopefully to help others going forward. It's interesting here because you have a biological mom who lost custody of her child because she had some drug issues. She's now the one stepping back in. And I think some people might be, tempted to say, oh, look, she's just a money grubber. She lost her child by her own irresponsible acts. Now she's stepping back in to help cash in.
I can see arguments going that way. I can also see arguments saying that substance abuse is a very serious issue, whether it be biological or mental health. We know that there are current pandemics, not just talking about what happened in the past, but the drug epidemic, that people are susceptible to drug use, not just because they're lazy or stupid or whatever it may be. And I don't know if the biological mother is that person. So I'm not going to cast judgment on that until I find other reasons too. At one point, the state says she's not fit to be a mother, but I don't think being unfit to be a mother doesn't mean that you can't find justice for your child. And so I look at them as 2 different issues, that she can now step up and maybe do something that she couldn't have done for her child in living, but now in her memory.
Let's talk just about the practical aspects of presuming somebody dead. It's an administrative thing. We don't know. The body's never been found. There is no hard evidence. It's not unlike the Jennifer Dulos case in Connecticut. There is no evidence that the person is truly dead, but administratively, boom, a judge says you're dead. And it's usually a probate type judge because either there's estate issues to deal with, as there was with the Jennifer Dulos case, or in this case, it's the right to pursue legal action on behalf of the person now presumed dead. But from a criminal standpoint, there's no satisfaction there.
No, and I tell people, as much as we talk about there being justice found in the criminal justice system, I would say it falls just short, if not extremely short of that. Because we don't find someone guilty and then all of a sudden Harmony Montgomery is reborn now and she's alive and she can be with her family or be with whomever, because that loss is always going to be there. I think what we're seeing here of officially saying that Harmony Montgomery is presumed dead, it allows for other avenues, as you articulated, for justice and for family members and people to find solace and some kind of justice and some sort of finality.
Well, we are going to see, obviously, the pending civil litigation has been billboarded for us. Thank you, Brian. We'll keep track of these cases as they unfold. Again, the biological mother of Harmony Montgomery now taking up wrongful death cases against 2 different state agencies that she believes should have better cared for Harmony and prevented her ultimate death.